Okay, the focus of the presentation today is getting started with the EAL Collecting Evidence site. So the intentions today will include the following. I'll give you some information about how you can access the EAL evidence collection site. We'll also talk about what the purpose of the site is and how it was developed. I'm then going to walk you through all the sections that you'll see on the website, which will include the considerations, the writing evidence, including illustrated examples, speaking evidence, resources, benchmarks, and then at the end, there'll be time to explore the website because you may come up with some questions once you've had a look at the website. Okay, so how to access the website? You can see on the screen here what it looks like. The landing page on the website is here. Also on the PDF of the slides that I sent you, there are live links on those slides, and I know my colleague China has put the link in the chat as well, so thank you so much. So you can access the site just by directly using the link that's provided. There's also a bit.ly, so a little bit of a shorter web address, so I've put it right there. And then you can also access it on our EPD page. So if you just get to the main page, scroll down a little bit, it's kind of the first option on the top left, and I've highlighted in yellow there. That will take you directly to the site. And this is a Google site that we're constantly updating. So again, you can check back often. Now, if you would like to open the evidence collection site while I'm doing the presentation so that you can refer to the site, please feel free to do that. You might want to try some things or go to the tabs that I'm speaking about while I'm speaking about them, so feel free. I'll give you just a few seconds there to open it up if you're interested. So the purpose of this site was, and the reason that we created it was so that teachers have a place to go to access materials which will help them gather the required evidence for EAL students. And again, just a reminder, there's one piece of annotated evidence that is required for all students who have an EAL code, either a 301 or 303. It's really important to note, though, that these resources are just designed to support all students in your classroom, not just those identified as EAL learners. For example, if you're collecting a beginning of the year writing sample, these materials can be used as part of a whole class activity to benefit all. These resources were thoughtfully developed by our EAL consultants, and we were so lucky to collaborate with a dedicated focus group of teachers who generously volunteered their time and expertise. And so all the teachers who participated in our focus group are listed on the screen here. And so a huge thank you to them, and the insight that they brought from the classroom has really helped us make the resources relevant to what you're seeing in the classroom and hopefully as user-friendly as possible. All right, so when you land on the EAL Collecting Evidence site, you'll be on the home page. The first thing I wanted to point out, right on the home page there, you can see the Collecting Evidence flowchart. We created this flowchart so that you could refer to it to determine what type of evidence would be the most appropriate to collect for your students. So you can see on the chart here, from kindergarten up to grade 12, generally, we would be collecting speaking evidence for our EAL level 1 students. So you can see in the red there. And then for kindergarten and grade 1, we would only be collecting speaking evidence. And both the writing and the speaking evidence templates are available on this website. So we'll go through those so you'll see. The one where kind of teacher's discretion, you guys know your students the best, whereas you could determine if you wanted to collect speaking or writing, would be for our EAL level 2 students. Some students might be capable of writing as it's an EAL level 2 students, but some may not, and it might be more prudent to collect a piece of speaking evidence in that case. And then once we get to EAL level 3, and as well grade 2 and up, we would recommend collecting writing evidence. The next section of the website that I'll touch on is the considerations section. In the considerations section, there is a document, which is the Guide to Collecting Writing Evidence. It is again live linked on the screen here and also in the chat. Inside of this document, you will find the following. There's an example of a link between EAL curricular outcomes and EAL benchmark outcomes. So again, you could be killing two birds with one stone here, looking at EAL curriculum outcomes and benchmark outcomes. There's also a suggested pattern of what you could do. So there's kind of a circle flow chart, which talks about the pre-writing, the writing, assessment, and then the post-assessment and what all sections of that look like. So if you're wondering about more, thinking about more information about that, you can check there. There's also links to the K-6 narrative writing toolkits on this document, which provides lots of good insights from our ELAL team. There's links to graphic organizers, and there's links to the Project Zero thinking routines, which we'll touch on further later on in this presentation. Okay, so we'll start now with, you can see on the top bar of the what's available is the writing evidence. So when you click on writing evidence, you'll see that there is elementary, junior high, and high school writing prompts available. These would be recommended for grade 2 and up, and also EAL level 2 and up. The resources that are available are writing prompts, a blank template, and annotated illustrative examples. And just a note to please check back on the website often throughout the year, because we are always adding more, especially related to those annotated illustrative examples. We will be adding more throughout the year. And also, just a little plug, if you have a great example of a piece of writing, we would love if you send it our way, and we can add it to our illustrative examples throughout the year so that we have lots of different examples from lots of different schools. So you'll see, I'm going to go through the junior high section of the writing part, but just so you know, it's the same for elementary and high school. So you can check the division that relates to what you're teaching, but I'll be going through the junior high here. So the first thing you'll see is there's a blank junior high writing template. The reason we included this is so that you can create your own prompt if you want. So kind of the base work is done. You can see all the sections, and you can just add your own guiding question and image, and use that if you would prefer to make your own. Underneath that, you'll see that there's the junior high writing examples. So these are 4 that we have created and they are ready to use for you. You have the option to view the document, so you can see the view only option there. If you click on that, it will open the document and you can have a look at it and see if it's something that would work for you. You also have the option to click make a copy. If you click make a copy, the document will then be saved into your Google Drive. Now, the benefit to making a copy is that you can then edit that document to make it work best for yourself and your students in your class. So you can use what we've created as a starting point, but again, you know your students best. If you know of things that have worked well for your students or things that you prefer to use, you can then just edit the document. So yeah, there's that option for all of them. You'll see there's 4 options available for junior high. Once you open the document, I'll go through page by page what you'll see. So the first 2 pages are the teacher pages. At the very top there of the teacher page, you'll see there's a guiding question. We have created guiding questions for all of the images. Again, please note, if you would prefer to have a more open-ended question or something more related to what you've been doing in class, you can edit that guiding question or not even include the guiding question. And then as well here, you can see that there's 2 images available. If you would prefer to use just one image, you can delete one of the images, or if you have an image that you would prefer to use, you can add a different image. So again, it's open to what you would like, but as it is now, it is ready to go for you as well to just print and use. So we've got the guiding question, the image, and then the section below is regarding supports that we've created that are available as well as part of this document, and we'll go over those in a couple of slides. There's also pre-writing activities that are live linked here. So I'll talk about that. And then we have vocabulary that is specific to the guiding question. So if you're not sure what subject-specific vocabulary would be related to this guiding question, we've given you some examples of academic vocabulary, everyday vocabulary, and descriptive vocabulary. And then as well, just a reminder of the different types of sentence structure that you would be looking for your students to find evidence in their writing. The second page, so if you wanted to print it out, it could be a front and back. The second page is serves as a teacher reference guide of cohesive devices. So at the very top there, you'll see a number of examples of beginner cohesive devices, and then in the middle, intermediate, and then at the bottom, more advanced. This would be helpful to use when you're annotating. So if you're looking, hey, what kind of level of cohesive devices is this student using? You can check this reference page and see, if they use the word therefore, is that a beginner or advanced cohesive device? And so they're all listed there for you. I just wanted to make note of the pre-writing activities that are found on the teacher page. Again, this is one example. The pre-writing activities are meant to help build background knowledge and also vocabulary. And so you can see here, there's a live link to an article regarding, so the topic of this guiding question was about a food memory. And so you can see that there's a live link to an article here. There's a podcast. The podcast that we picked would be like maybe less than 5 minutes, so you could listen to the podcast with your class to help build background knowledge. And these are all related directly to the guiding question of each prompt. There's linked to graphic organizers, and then the Project Zero thinking routines as well, which are just kind of ways to engage conversation in your class. So you can click on that, and the thinking routine is there as well. And please note, we did try to use resources mostly from Curio, because we know that all teachers have access to Curio. And so all of the links on here should be accessible for all teachers at any time. Okay, now that we've gone through the teacher pages, we'll move on to the student pages. The student page is what you would possibly print out for your students to have at their desk. So you can see the student page here includes the guiding question at the top. It includes the image. It includes space for pre-writing brainstorming. So we would be encouraging that you would have a full class discussion prior to students getting started writing, and students could record the brainstorming from that full class session here. The back side of the paper that you would give to the students, you can see here, it just has the lines. And then on the bottom, you can see the annotated kind of sticker that we usually use when we're annotating is put for your convenience on the bottom of the page there. So you're welcome to, if the student completes their writing on the top there, then you can use the bottom to help you with the annotation process. Okay, we're just going to quickly talk about supports and scaffolds by level. You'll see that the document here is live linked on the screen, as well as we'll put the link in the chat. But just wanted to bring your attention to supports and scaffolds that are recommended for students at a variety of different levels. So a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And we're talking about intensive support for our level 1s and 2s, targeted support for our level 3s and 4s, and limited support for our level 5s. And so we've taken these supports and we've created resources that provide the supports for these levels, so that all levels of EAL in your class could access this activity. So so the supports and scaffolds are provided for each level to ensure accessibility to the student prompt. Without these, the prompt may not be accessible to all learners. And so each level or each prompt includes level specific support. So I'll just show you what those look like. So again, all of these are inside of that one document that is linked here. So you'll just scroll down to the bottom. You'll see here Form A, Form B, and Form C. So if you have a student who is a level 2 in your class and who's going to be participating in this writing prompt, you would then print a copy of Form A for that student. You would give them the student page and you would also give them Form A. So that Form A is the support or the scaffold that that student would need to find success. You can see on Form A for the vocabulary, we have more kind of everyday words that the student would be able to use in their writing. And there's also an image that goes along with the word to help them know what each word meant. You can also see that there's sentence starters given related to this topic, and these would be more of the sentences that a level 2 or level 1 student would be able to access. So more simple sentences. And then the beginner cohesive devices are listed at the bottom that the student would be able to have access to. Form B here would be for your level 3 and 4 students. So again, you would print off the student page and then you would give them a third page, which would be Form B, as the support and scaffolds. So that targeted support for those level 3 and 4 students. You can see here still a word bank is given. The words are slightly more complex of what we would be expecting of a level 3 and 4 student to use, as well as the sentence starters that we've given them, more complex sentences. And then also on the bottom here, the higher level of cohesive devices. And then for our level 5 students, again, it has gone up a level as well. So the more highly complex words in the word bank, more complex sentences, and then those advanced cohesive devices are given to them. All right, you will see as well when you click on the writing evidence or the writing section, you will see that there's annotated illustrated examples available as well. Here you'll find annotated student samples that demonstrate achievement across all proficiency levels. Each example includes a written rationale explaining how the level was determined, providing clarity and insight into the assessment process. So you can see here, if you're wondering what achieving a level 1 looks like, you could click on that level 1 example and you'll be able to see how this student had achieved the level 1. So when you open the document, the very first page is the rationale. It highlights the vocabulary that they used and the specific vocabulary words from the sample that were considered to be, in this case, achieving a level 3. And then you'll see the sentence structure, examples of the sentence structure that were found, examples of cohesive devices that were found, areas of growth for the student are listed, and then some teaching strategies to help with the areas of growth. Here you'll see this was the student's piece of writing and we annotated it on the page that is part of the document that we already spoke about. Recognizing that it's quite hard to read the student's writing, we also typed it up and did the highlighting there so that you would have be able to see it a little bit more clearly. So again, these are a work in progress. You will have noticed on the previous screen that we were missing one of the levels. That is the case throughout the divisions. We're missing a few. We will be working on that to make sure that all levels are shown on the website. So again, just keep checking back. Okay, so that gets us to the end of the writing part. We're going to move on now to speaking evidence. And you'll see for speaking evidence, there's elementary, junior high, and high school available. These would be recommended for kindergarten, grade 1, and possibly early grade 2 students. They are also recommended for EAL level 1 students and possibly EAL level 2 students. The resources that are available are speaking prompts with guiding questions in 2 formats and a blank template. And again, please stay tuned for annotated illustrated examples that will be added throughout the year. So the same as writing, there are blank templates so that you can use your own image or speak about a center in your classroom. So again, these could be used with, if students were doing centers in your kindergarten class, you could take the blank template, ask the questions related to what's actually in your classroom as well. So that's a nice use of the blank template. So here we have a K-1 example. There are 4 options available for K-1. You have the option to view the document and also make a copy. Again, same with the writing. If you make a copy, it'll save into your Google Drive and you'll be able to edit it to best fit your needs. There is an alternate layout available for the speaking prompts. Some teachers felt that they wanted all the questions on one side and then to record the answers on the other side, which is a little bit different format than the original one. So again, you can just have a look at the different formats and see which ones fit best for you. Important to note for the elementary speaking examples, these ones are broken down by K-1, 2 to 3, and then 4 to 6. So there's a number of different speaking prompts available. You can see here these ones would be more appropriate for younger students. If you look at the 4 to 6 ones, they are more tailored to the older students. And then again, of course, for junior high and high school as well. Wanted to speak quickly about a new resource that is available in all K-9 schools as well as 7 to 9 schools. These are called WeSee cards, and we did create a template that can be used if you want to use WeSee cards to do your speaking assessments. WeSee cards are visual learning tools featuring vivid photo cards designed to inspire creativity, conversation, and connection making across all age groups and learning levels. So again, just check with your librarian or Division I teachers for this resource. You can see the image on the bottom there. Here's an example of 4 of the cards from the WeSee card boxes. These ones all have the color blue in them, and you could do your speaking assessment based on that. Another thing you could do is you could ask the student, can you pick out 6 cards of here that you really like? And we're going to talk about those 6 cards. So there's lots of different things you can do with these. This is just another option for, instead of using an image or a center in your classroom, you could use these as well. If you are choosing one of our images, this is what the document looks like when you open it up. The first page is an image. This image you could print out or you could just project on your screen. The second page, you'll see a benchmark with check boxes. So this is where you would be checking off what they have achieved in their speaking. You can see vocabulary, sentence structure, and cohesive devices are all there. The next couple of pages here are the guiding questions. So on the left there, you'll see the guiding questions, and then on the right is the evidence. So this is where you would record what the student said to you. Some things I wanted to point out about this. Important to note that there is pre-collecting evidence conversation. And so at the very top there, there's some suggested prompts, you know, things like, good morning, how are you doing? What did you do this morning? Are you having a good day? Why or why not? And you can record some of that there because those are the things that we look for in the benchmarks as well. So we want to record that there. And then also to note that the guiding questions are generic and can be used for any image. The guiding questions were created to target responses that include vocabulary, sentence structure, and cohesive devices. So I fully recognize it's very hard to see them on this small screen, but please feel free to open them up on your screen and have a look at the different questions that are there. Those are all available for you. Okay, we're getting now to the resources section of the website. In the resources section, quickly talk about the annotated resources. You can see there's color labels, no color labels, and then benchmark supporting documents. The reason you might want the labels is if your students are writing on either they're typing on a Chromebook, you might want these labels to then put on the bottom of the typed page when you go to annotate. Or if you're using a different format for writing than the one that's provided in the documents that I shared before, you'll need those little labels in order to mark the color for vocabulary, sentence structure, and cohesive devices. We also have UDL strategies linked under the resources section there. And the last part here is benchmarks. Just for convenience, we have linked the benchmarks here by division. And I wanted to point out, once you click on the division that you're looking for, you can also select the benchmarks that have the exemplars on the bottom. And the exemplars are just examples of the types of words or sentences that you would be looking for each level. So you might want to print those out for your division that you're looking for when you're moving forward with the annotation process. Okay, I'm going to get my colleague to stop the recording here. Perfect.